This might be the weirdest trailer The Boys has dropped all season. And honestly, I think that is exactly the point. On the surface, it looks chaotic, random, almost stupid in the best possible way. But underneath all that madness, I think episode 5 is setting up something much bigger. Because once you strip away the comedy, the blood, and that absolutely insane fake Homelander-looking shot, this trailer is really about one thing. The V1 hunt is entering a much more dangerous phase. Hey, what's up everyone? Come back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, The Boys Season 5, Episode 5 is almost here. And after the way Episode 4 slowed things down a little to focus more on atmosphere, tension, and character dynamics, this new trailer feels like the show is ready to hit the gas again. And in my opinion, that is exactly what it needs to do. We are now too deep into the final season for the story to keep circling around the same mystery. Somebody needs to get closer to V1. Somebody needs to make a huge mistake. And based on this trailer, I think Homelander and Soldier Boy are about to kick open the next door in the ugliest way possible. The biggest clue in the trailer is obviously Homelander and Soldier Boy showing up at Mr. Marathon's home. Now, the interesting thing about that is that if Butcher's side is correct, then Mr. Marathon is not actually the one holding V1. That means Homelander is likely not there for the product itself. He is there for information.
And honestly, I think that makes perfect sense. Mr. Marathon feels less like the final target and more like the middleman. He comes from an older era of Vought. He has history. He has connections. He also has that washed-up ex-member energy that makes him exactly the kind of person who would still know people on the fringes. If Bombsite has been moving through old soup circles or staying close to people with similar habits and similar problems, then Mr. Marathon becomes a very believable link in that chain. That is why I do not think this is a simple raid. I think this is an interrogation. Homelander asks about V1 directly, and the tone of that moment matters. He is not searching the house like someone chasing a rumor. He is looking at Mr. Marathon like a man who already knows he is useful. That changes everything. It suggests Homelander has either learned that Mr. Marathon knows Bombsite, or at least suspects that he can lead them to him. And if that is true, then this episode may be built around forcing a meeting rather than finding a stash. Now let's talk about the fear on Mr. Marathon's face, because that part of the trailer stood out to me immediately. He does not look confused. He does not look defensive. He looks terrified. And I think that is because he understands the situation instantly. When Homelander shows up with Soldier Boy at his side, this is not a request. This is survival mode. Whatever old memories Mr. Marathon has from Vought's earlier years, whatever he knows about these men, it is all coming back at once. That also ties into Malchemical being in the room, because if Homelander notices him, and I think there is almost no chance he does not, then Malchemical immediately becomes leverage. He becomes the easiest person to grab, threaten, and use to make Mr. Marathon cooperate. And judging by the trailer, I think that is exactly what happens. We see Soldier Boy handling him physically, and that tells me the reunion at this house is not staying civil for very long. The real question is whether Malchemical is just a hostage or whether his powers become central to the plan. Because when the trailer cuts to that bizarre shot that looks like Homelander standing in a field in a completely ridiculous pose, I do not buy for 1 second that it is actually Homelander. It feels off. The energy is wrong. The image is too absurd, even for this show. To me, that screams shape-shifting. And if Malchemical does have powers that can be used to copy forms, identities, or appearances, then I think this scene is telling us he is being forced to impersonate Homelander for some reason. Maybe it is part of baiting Bombsite out. Maybe it is part of setting up a meeting from a distance. Or maybe the show is just using that image to completely mislead us in the trailer. But either way, I would be shocked if that is the real Homelander. My personal opinion is that this is one of those classic The Boys trailer shots designed to make the audience ask what the hell they are looking at, while the actual context is much smarter than it first appears. Now, the bloodbath side of this trailer is where things get even more interesting. We get at least one shot of Mr. Marathon drenched in blood and standing in what looks like the aftermath of total carnage. That amount of gore does not feel like a single execution. It feels larger, messier, almost explosive. And that is why I think Bombsite may actually show up at some point during the sequence. If his abilities are tied in any way to his name, then an eruption of gore and debris would make a lot of sense. That would also explain why Homelander and Soldier Boy are being so careful. They may not know exactly how dangerous he is now that V1 is involved. If Bombsite's system handled it well, then he may already be far more dangerous than an ordinary soup. And that means this weird little reunion episode could suddenly turn into a major battle before anybody is ready for it. Now, over on Butcher's side, the trailer feels much sillier on purpose. Terror going after a Homelander toy is funny, no question, but I do not think it is there just for the joke. That entire section feels like something in Butcher's operation is either breaking down or getting unstable. Frenchie, MM, and Kimiko do not exactly look relaxed walking into that scene. It feels like they are reacting to a problem. My guess is that whatever they are trying to build or test is not going smoothly. The virus angle may be hitting complications, the lab work may be failing, or Butcher may be getting increasingly erratic now that time is running out. And I actually like that possibility, because it means both sides are under pressure at the same time. Homelander may be closer to a lead on V1, but Butcher's side could be losing control of their own plan. Then there's Stan Edgar.
He looks terrible in this trailer, and that detail matters because Stan Edgar almost never looks weak. He usually carries himself like the calmest man in any room. But here, he looks worn down, stripped of dignity, and dressed in a way that feels deliberately humiliating. That suggests Homelander is not just holding him prisoner, he is enjoying the process. And if Homelander brings Stan with him to Mr. Marathon's place, then this scene becomes even loaded, because now you are not just dealing with old soups and new leads, you are pulling a major Vought architect directly into the middle of the next V1 confrontation. That opens the door to something much bigger happening here, including the possibility of a major death. I'm not saying Stan Edgar definitely dies in this episode, but I do think the trailer is teasing at least one meaningful casualty. We are too close to the endgame now for every episode to end without someone important paying a price.
The other thing I actually appreciate about this trailer is the self-awareness. The show clearly knows exactly what kind of reunion energy it is creating with these actors. It is playing with that meta layer on purpose, and for me, that is fine as long as it still serves the plot. If it is just a wink to the audience, then it gets cheap fast. But if it pushes the V1 storyline forward and gives us one of the most memorable sequences of the season, then it absolutely works. So overall, my biggest theory is this. Homelander and Soldier Boy are not going to Mr. Marathon to find V1 directly. They are going there to force a path to Bombsite. Malchemical gets dragged into that plan. Something goes violently wrong, and by the end of the episode, the hunt for V1 becomes much more immediate than it has been up to this point. And honestly, I think that is exactly what the season needs right now. But anyway, that is my breakdown of The Boys Season 5, Episode 5 trailer, and my theories on what could happen next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Mr. Marathon is just a lead to Bombsite, or do you think he is hiding something even bigger from both Homelander and Soldier Boy? I will catch you in the next one.